All right, guys. Hello and welcome back to another Iro Rambo session. All right, today's session is going to be about how Tesla is moving into an actual brand new space as a pseudo utility. More on that soon. And how this is going to make them a fair amount of money. All right, so Tesla is about to fire up what is going to be known as a VPP, a virtual power plant. And that's a long and drawn out way of saying they're going to systematically use the power that are currently located in people's power walls that is currently generated from their solar panel setups. And they're going to allow Joe Blow local electric co-op to use that power during peak times. So we all know, for us on the western side of the world, it's hot. We are experiencing record heat waves right now, and everybody is blasting their AC 24/7. My AC in particular has not went off since summer started. So I know I'm not the only one in the neighborhood, and I keep mine pretty level, pretty straight. So when it's time for everybody to cut their AC on or drop their AC lower, i.e. 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., just the hottest part of the day where you walk outside and feel like you're getting hit in the face with a flamethrower, is when the grid needs as much power. So normally the grid can only produce X amount of power. For illustrated purposes, let's say the grid can only produce 100 kilowatts of power. And let's say the average load on the system is about 80. So most of the time when it's not super hot or super cold, the system is just humming along at 80 kilowatt hours. Now, amp that up to hot summer day, record heat, bing, bang, boom. Now, you are looking at that grid is designed for 100. But with everybody pulling, you're probably looking at 110, maybe 120. Because everybody's trying to cool off their house because it's hot. So there are only 3 options available to Joe Blow Electric Co-op. The first one is to govern down the amount of power you can pull, which does not make anybody in the equation happy. You aren't happy because your house isn't cooling. Your appliances aren't happy because they're not getting the required voltage they need to bloody run. So nobody's happy, in scenario 1. Next, we have scenario 2, which is rolling blackouts. So they pick X place, usually, let's be real, a lower income place. And we just go through, you just don't have power for like 3 hours. AKA the hottest 3 hours of the day. So yeah, that happens. And that is option 2, rolling blackouts, which usually affects lower income minority neighborhoods. Again, let's just be real. And then we have option 3. Option 3 is to buy extra electricity, because again, Joe Blow Electric Co-op can only make 100 kilowatts. They can buy excess electricity from their neighboring Joe Blow co-ops. But it's the law of capitalism, supply and demand. If I have it and you need it, and you need it yesterday, you're gonna pay it out the nose. So it is projected that when they have to buy extra electricity, they pay up to 10 times as much as they regularly would for electricity. So it's a massive markup. And I know you might be saying, all right, screw the electric company. That's what I pay my bill for. If they got to buy electricity to make this system run, screw it. And usually, if we lived in a fair and just society, that'd be right. But we don't. You are a ratepayer just like I am a ratepayer on average. So that means if they need to buy electricity to make sure the grid can function and not have governed down power rolling blackouts, you as a ratepayer are going to end up paying that. Case in point, the same thing happened on a grandiose scale this winter, well, that last winter, when Texas turned into an ice cube and they had to buy power from the national power plant. People ended up with 15 grand electric bills because they had to buy power for days and days on end in surplus. And instead of the instead of the power companies doing the good thing and just eating the cost, they just pass the cost off to the consumer plus interest. So yeah. But what Tesla's going for, and it's already being implemented on a smaller scale with, random cooperatives and in power companies, is that if you have a power wall or some type of battery setup and you make your own electricity, if you allow them to pull from your power banks, from your power walls, or again, whatever battery setup you currently have, they will compensate you. And you are doing a public service. So let's say you have a 60 kilowatt hour battery setup. When your battery setup is topped out, you have 60 kilowatt hours, which is about enough to run the average American household on normal setup for about 2.5 days, depending on where you live, XYZ. So, the average window unit of an ACU uses, let's say, 1,000 watt hours, which, as a regular breakdown, a kilowatt hour is 100 watt hours. So, you are holding somewhere around 600 watt hours of power in your walls, which means you can theoretically run a sizable neighborhood's AC window units during peak hours. And again, if they're only pulling during the top 3 to 5 hours out the day, when everybody's blasting AC, you can basically power 17, 18 houses. Again, just off the top of my head math. And the thing is, if you were just the only one doing it, you would be helping your neighborhood. But you are not the only one doing it. I guarantee. So, once we get into the fact that anybody with a power setup is eligible for this, because you only need 3 things: solar panels to generate power, a battery setup, and the tech to do it. Once those 3 prerequisites are met and established, you can go about your business, selling or giving power to the grid. And that is what Tesla is doing now. Since everybody bought their power walls when, you know, Tesla was Solar City before it just got rolled into Tesla proper, people have 40 to 60 to 80 kilowatt hour power walls, not to mention their generic power walls that they had either made or bought from other providers. So you got all these people having stored energy, just having batteries sitting around with stored power for a rainy day. Now you can link these people together instead of using or buying electricity from a third-party service and paying through the nose. The electrical cooperative can just borrow your power that will just be sitting there since your batteries are full, and if the sun's going to be dropping energy, you might as well use it. So Tesla is in a position to make a fair amount of money off of the virtual power plant design model. Whether the general consumer, if they sign up to be a part of Tesla's virtual power plant, which I believe goes live the 28th of July, so right down the road. I don't know if they're going to get compensated, but that's what Tesla is starting to do. I won't say planning, because they're already in the, you know, sign-up phase. And again, it might work. It's going to work out good for the power cooperatives. It's going to work out good for Tesla because Tesla can sell the power. But the only sticking point is, are people, the everyday people who bought the power walls for their own use, going to be compensated. And with that said, this is the end of the IRL Rambles about Tesla's new virtual power plant setup. If you like what you hear, like and subscribe, share the video. Deuces.